Tax attorneys hate when I teach this. Probably more than all, just tax attorney, corporate attorneys for sure. But this is something that I would say it's a little known fact with regards to, taxes. I can't give legal advice, so I don't. I can't give tax advice, so I don't. But what I can say is attorneys hate when I teach this. So we're going to get into that. This is the foundation. I am Sot L, seeker of truth L, speaker of truth L. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I trust that you're in a relaxed position, preferably reclined. If not, that's cool. Hopefully you got a sweet tea or a Mountain Dew, whatever your choice is. I'm going to get into this show, though, as I always do. Hope everyone's having, a luxurious, wonderful time and an enjoyable day. Let's jump into this. Please, as always, check out welcome to the foundation.com. Sign up for the email list if you so choose. Right there. Blah, blah. We're going to get into this. I just wanted to make an announcement. So here we have the education section, right? Excuse me. And we got the, the passport, no social, part 1. We got the passport, no social, part 2. Right? Enough said. If you're starting out, this is new to you, you want to grab this foundation trust primer. It's over 18 documents handpicked by yours truly. If you want to get into, trust administration, specifically non-state structured entities. I don't know if that makes sense. Having graduated that, I suggest that you get into the Foundation Trust Series, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. 1 is beginner, 2 is intermediate, and then 3, I'd say it's a little more advanced. You get into more advanced concepts with administration as far as, financing and finances. But that's that. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Also, if you're interested in learning how to administer trusts, which would include creating trusts, private trusts, you got to read between the lines, This would include creating private trusts. This would include, and not even 1 or 2 or 3, as many as you need, you wanted. You could teach people how to, administer trusts, as well as or not. Link in the description of this video. I almost said film. I'm not an actor. I would say it's the most comprehensive. Learn at your own pace. When you need it, when you want it, no tests, no quizzes, nothing like that. Actionable information. You ready to go? This is it. And I'm, studying is okay, but to a point, studying, we can study, and then, we need to get to that action. We need to start, doing. So if you're looking to do, this is for you. As I said, link in the description. Wow. Description. Excuse me. And you can do your dance as we all do our dance. If you're looking to start a business, which I suggest you do, link in the description, a full comprehensive course on how to start your own business. It doesn't expire, just like the Trustee training. It doesn't expire. You get your own access. It's a beautiful thing. But, maybe it's not for you. But I think it is. So check it out. We also have the Foundation Magazine, digital and print edition. We celebrated our annual, the first year, the entire year. I think that's a celebration. I like the luxurious issues that I've seen. The ones I've seen are dope. I know the other ones are dope too. As I said, you got a digital edition, you have a print edition. You can sign up if you're interested. Link in the description. Let's jump into this. said I wasn't going to take your time. What is a private foundation? And I know. People clicked away, so let's allow them to get away. Y'all can close your browsers, go on to the next. It's too complicated. It's what my grandfather would do. These are the type of people that, this isn't for. For those who value, in my opinion, this is my opinion. This is for those of you who value your life. Know the value of your life. And I'm not playing. And that life, you have a certain amount of energy every day that you can expend simply because there's only so many hours in a day. So that's the minimum limitation. And with that being said, however you value your life daily, hourly, whatever, those who stand in this position, they more think along the lines, what's mine is mine, so to speak, and want to keep more of their energy or what they receive in exchange for their energy. Some would call it income. Some would call it compensation. Others would call it remuneration. I'm not here to say what is and what isn't. I don't think that's my job. My job is to bring awareness and speak the truth. Truth of the matter is, tax attorneys, they hate when I teach this information right here, right? A private foundation is an independent legal entity set up solely for charitable purposes. Unlike a public charity which relies on public fundraising to support its activities, the funding for a private foundation typically comes from a single individual, a family, or a corporation, which receives a tax deduction for donations. This is from the foundation source. I don't know. I think they charge to set it up. Who knows what this is? Just found it on the internet. But that's absolutely true. So you notice how I say, individual, family, or corporation. You can include trust in there. I don't know why that's left out. That's interesting. The word foundation is commonly incorporated into the names of many different types of nonprofits. Susan G. Komen Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, same type of thing. But not all of these charitable foundations are private foundations. In fact, a private foundation is a very specific and distinct type of charitable vehicle. Both public and private charities and foundations are classified as tax exempt. However, the major difference between a private foundation, like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and a public charity, like a Make-A-Wish Foundation, is where they derive their financial support. While a public charity gets its funding from the general public, a private foundation usually has one source of funding, typically an individual, a family, or corporation. Now, why do tax attorneys hate when I point people to this? Well, if you understand trust law and you understand contract law, which we teach here at the foundation, it's the foundation of what we teach, then you understand that you don't need an attorney to set these things up. Actually, private in the name is indicative of its governance. There's a public charity that's governed by the public, and there's a private charity that's covered by the private. What is the private? Private is the private law, the contract terms within the indenture. Contract makes the law. Understand what I'm saying? So the benefits, individuals, family members, corporations, trusts can donate to this vehicle, right? Let me go down. Different types of foundations: public foundation, non-operating, private foundation rules. A donor may be able to take advantage of three main tax benefits when he or she gives to a private foundation: reduction to the donor's income tax, obviously, avoidance of capital gains taxes, reduction or elimination of potential estate taxes. Now, most people would be like, man, we need the money. My family needs the money. We have to, maintain our quality of life. I have bills to pay. I can't just turn around and start donating to my family foundation. How does that make sense? I would say to that is you're not thinking hard enough. That's what I'm gonna start off with. Let's move forward. Ooh, we got the IRS. Every organization, they understand private foundations. Attorneys hate when I point this out. They understand private foundations. Every organization that qualifies for tax exemption as an organization described in Section 501c3 is a private foundation unless it falls into one of the categories specifically excluded from the definition of that term. So they can want, blah, blah, blah. In addition, there are several restrictions and requirements of private foundations. I like to talk about restrictions. Why? Because this is how we stay out of, conflict with these agencies. Restrictions on self-dealing between private foundations and their substantial contributors and other disqualified persons. So self-dealing between the foundation and its contributors and disqualified person. Generally, that's going to include the trustees. Requirements of the foundation annually distribute income for charitable purposes. That's technically not true. But it is. It is. It really is. It's 5%. I'm just going to be honest. Limits on their holdings in private businesses. That would be, holding shares in companies. I would even say publicly traded companies. Those are still private companies. They're not organized by the government. They're not government companies. They're held by private institutions and individuals. Then we got investments must not jeopardize the carrying out of exempt purposes. Makes sense. Provisions to assure expenditures further exempt purposes. Also, there are starting a foundation. Advantages of starting a foundation. I want to get to this. Lower what we got. Excise tax. This is advantages. I scrolled down too far. I apologize. Sheltered income plus control foundation investment income held by the foundation's trustees and is exempt from taxation, with the exception of the 1% to 2% excise tax. That is a very low tax rate. That's why. Right there. It's the difference between holding investments or generating investment income in the name of a private family foundation. This is, administered by family members versus holding this or generating this income with an individual. See the difference? Private foundation, individual. Generate investment income tax-free. Almost, but, there's specific exception. It's an exception. Payment of reasonable compensation. Y'all hear this? Under normal circumstances, family members and others may receive reasonable compensation from the foundation in return for services rendered. That's a deal right there. That's almost that's unimaginable. Why would I donate? Well, you understand? I mean, it takes a different way of thinking to really grasp, in my opinion, what I'm saying. And some people will be like, no, it doesn't. I understand what you're saying. Well, maybe you're already thinking differently. You already got it. But are you implementing it? Are you taking advantage of it? Or do you just comprehend it? Double capital gains tax benefits. First, no capital gain is realized when appreciated property is donated to the foundation. Second, donors may claim a charitable deduction for the full market value of appreciated stock held in publicly traded companies. Well, so the question is, do I just donate my actual shares, my stock, to my own family foundation and receive a charitable deduction, but the stock is still earning income off, off off the investments, but it's tax free now, subject to the excise tax. Private foundations are subject to 1.39% annual excise tax on net investment income, not gross, net. You got to understand the difference. The tax ostensibly defrays the costs incurred by the government in regulating private foundations. I don't care what you're talking about. 1.39%, worst case scenario. Attorneys hate this because I feel like attorneys that they're not going to teach you how to fish. They're not going to, hey, this is how you create your own structures, so you don't need me anymore. No, they're gonna say, hey, you can do this and you can do this, and you can get another LLC, and you can do a wrap, and you can do this, and they have all of these different, very convoluted techniques, but each one is you pay for. But we're looking for this. They hate it because it's private. Because it's private. Because it's a contract. And you don't need an attorney to execute a contract. What else we got? I missed one or a couple. Reimbursement of travel or other expenses. Reasonable and direct costs of site visits and board meetings may be paid by the foundation to family members, employees, and trustees. Listen to what I said. Do you understand what a site visit is? A site visit is you phone them up. Hold on, let's go overseas. You ring them. Let's ring them. And this would be any real organization. Be creative. And you ask them, hey, I'm the trustee. Man, listen to what I'm saying. They hate it when I tell you this. You think I'm playing? You think this is clickbait? It kind of is. I'm not even gonna lie. The title is, but listen, the information is clickbait as well. So you ring them up, right? We're ringing them, right? And the main question is, hey, it's not even the question first. Introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Sot L. How are you today? And then so you would do, that's what you would do. But you wouldn't say Sot L because I'm Sot L. You'd say what your name is. So you would say what your name is, and you say, hey, I'm the trustee of your family foundation. Insert the name. And then you would say, who do I speak to with regards to the donor department? Keyword. Donor department. Keywords. And they'll say, oh, it's so-and-so. It's Charlie. It might be Susan. But they'll get you on the phone. They're going to transfer you. You're going to talk to someone. Make sure it's business hours, right? You say, hey, once again, repeat what you said again. Except for the donor part. Excuse me. I got the dry throat, what I like to say, the dry coat, and it's from the trees, it's from the deciduous. Don't worry about me, I'm good. But I apologize. Where was I? Oh, and you repeat yourself except for, the last part, the donor department, because you're speaking to the donor department, obviously. And you say, we're looking to offer grants to organizations that participate in, specific things. Currently, our purpose, our charitable purpose with regards to the foundation involves education or science and its advancement. We noticed that you have an educational program with regards to such and such. Man, SeaWorld. Let's say SeaWorld. No, let's not say SeaWorld. Let's say SeaWorld. I know some people don't like, PETA. PETA don't like that. But listen, let's say SeaWorld because we're thinking about the children, whatever. Disney World. It doesn't matter. They have a donor department. So, we're looking to, offer a grant potentially, but we were looking to come out and see if the program actually, fits with our criteria for our grant offers and the grants that we make and so on and so forth, man. That, listen, I'm not even going to describe what happens after that. Of course, it's verification, and the minimum they're going to ask for the EIN and check and ensure that the EIN is tax exempt. Like it comes back with the tax exempt status, which is not difficult to get, y'all. It's just knowledge. But once they verify the tax exempt status and so on and so forth, and you would fly out there, more than likely. They're not going to pay for the trip, but pretty much everything else they're going to pay for, and more, back behind the scenes things and so on and so forth. And listen to what I'm saying. You don't even have to offer a grant to this organization because due to that, the site visit and the subsequent meeting of the Board of Trustees, it could have been determined that a grant would be offered because they didn't fit the specific criteria, for the see, and if you listen this far, I hope that you are very happy. At least in the fact that you comprehend, like, oh, okay, oh. Yeah. Yep. It's called a site visit. So the flight there and the hotel and all that stuff, reimbursed or not. It depends, whatever. Reimbursed to the trustees. This is just one thing. There's one benefit that I'm willing to go into specifics. What else we got? Disadvantages of starting private foundation. What's some disadvantages? Let's get into that. Excise tax, 1.39%. Ooh. You got to keep records. Oh, my bad. Regulatory requirements. Two main classes of tax-exempt charities organization, public, private. Private foundation required to distribute at least 5%. Remember when I said distribute? The IRS, what do they say? I can't remember. Oh, it was in here somewhere. Was it? I don't know. But it's in here somewhere. I give up. Y'all see it though, right? Hold on. It was like a requirement, provisions to assure investment holdings annually distribute income for charitable purposes. That's a requirement. We got to go back here. Required to distribute at least 5%. They got specific. That's true. But that's of their net investment assets annually in the form of charitable grants known as minimum distribution requirement and are subject to tighter scrutiny than public charities. Okay. Tax filings required by the IRS. Most states typically require 48 hours completed, blah, blah, blah. Lower deductibility caps. Individual may receive tax deductions for donations to public charities 60%. What's the date on this? 2021? I don't know. Y'all should check that. My understanding is 50%. I'm gonna check that after the show though. And I'm gonna check. I know it's 30% for private charities. So if you're, 30%, and some people would say, oh, 30%, if you do it right, you effectively reduce your individual tax rate by 30% annually. And there's more. But we won't get into it. Is a private foundation right for you? This stuff is everywhere. I'm just showing. This makes it. This goes through a lot. This is Charles Schwab. This is Schwab and them. You know what I'm saying? Charlie, Chuck. I don't know. Who does he go by? That's Chuckles. And then private foundations versus public charity. Definition, differences, benefits explained. What I wanted to focus on, how it's funded. Public charities must continually solicit donations and grants from multiple sources. At least 1/3 of the organization's contributions must come from the general public or meet the 10% facts and circumstances test. That's a lot of regulation just in the donations, man. Private foundation has fewer restrictions and can be funded by an endowment from a single source. And we also know it can be funded by an individual, a corporation, a family. We understand that. Private foundations make grants to individuals or other organizations, including to public charities. You see this? Private foundations make grants to individuals and other organizations. Doesn't have to be a charity. And you be like, what? I know. I'm not giving legal advice, though. Don't say I said it. I'm crazy. I could be crazy. I said that. Tell them I said that, too. If you tell them I said it, tell them I said that. But I'm serious. I'm not an attorney. I can't get legal advice. That's specific. Consulting is something different. Well, I'm not going to get into that right now, though. Let me finish this point. But it can make offer grants to public charities. And people would be like, well, it's difficult. We got to offer grants. We got to figure it out. At the end of the day, you can just make it, public charities. And this right here, offering grants to other organizations, specifically public charities, it's the simplest way to operate and, do your dance with regards to the administration of a private foundation. Just because, there's the oversight. If offering a grant to an individual, like a student or an organization that's not tax exempt, the oversight requirement is on your foundation. Okay? But if you offer a grant to an organization that's already tax exempt, then the oversight requirement is on them because they must use the funds in a way that is in compliance with the tax exemption, which will, generally be, sufficient for the requirement on your end as far as oversight. Like, well, we gave it to a tax exempt organization, so we didn't offer any oversight. Well, why did you offer oversight? Because they're already tax exempt, and we assume naturally, due to their tax exempt status, that they were going to use those funds for tax exempt purposes. So, people will be like, oh, and attorneys, especially attorneys, and people who want to just get money from you. They'll describe how difficult. Oh, it's difficult. It's a contract, man. It's a 5-page contract, an EIN, and an application for tax exempt status. But it's the knowledge of how to do that, what's in the contract, how to obtain the EIN, and how to apply for the tax exempt status in order to acquire the successful result. And, I don't know. Do attorneys have the knowledge to set up a private foundation? I don't know. I've never asked, and I've never paid them to, verify. But I will say, a lot of this stuff, they get paid more the more confused you are, if that makes sense. Especially more confused you are with what you're trying to do. Especially tax preparers, CPAs. They get paid more the more confused you are with what their profession is, which is to prepare tax returns. So the more confused you are with preparing tax returns, the more these tax preparers can get paid. Same thing with, these structures and contracts and so on and so forth. That's the way I looked at it. And that's why I'm sitting where I'm sitting. Maybe I'm a go-getter or, I don't know. But, the dependent, someone going to nickel and dime me over time when I could just learn this stuff and you can just teach me this stuff. Pay me how to do it myself. I can't do that. The bar and all, look, I don't have time for that. So, that's why I know what I know. And if if you're anything like me, you can learn what I know, or you're getting down there. So yeah, you got the 30% AGI for cash, 20% long-term publicly traded appreciated securities. So there you go. This is what, if you got stocks and stuff, you got to pay attention to that. Special considerations. Non-operating foundations don't usually run their own programs. Operating foundations are directly involved in operating a charitable project or enterprise such as a museum, zoo, or library. Okay? Know that. Non-operating foundations don't usually run their own programs, but instead give back by making grants to public charities, individuals, and organizations. Now remember, public charities, oversight falls on the public charity. Individuals and organizations that aren't charities, oversight falls on your foundation. That make sense? I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, if you're interested in learning how to administer trust, because I'm going to tell you the foundation of a private foundation is a trust. It's a trust indenture, period. If it's a corporation, if it's an LLC, if it's anything besides a private contract specifically crafted in the form of a private foundation, it's not what we're talking about here. It's not. Not at all. And this is what attorneys hate that I teach. If you have any questions, if you would like to consult with me, you can go to our website, welcometothefoundation.com. And it's right down here. Boom, boom, boom. See, book a consultation. See this right here? You can book a consultation. I'm going to tell you right now, it's $55 an hour. We generally go over, but it's definitely not free. Respectively, my time is valuable, as is yours. So this is probably the easiest way to book a consultation right here. You don't even have to email or anything. You just do it. And you will receive all the information that you need. Our people will get into contact with you. And, I suggest y'all invest in y'all private education. Well, I appreciate y'all checking out the show. Y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It's very important. And I will catch you next time here on The Foundation. Peace, y'all.